This story is called Victoria's Secret or Victor's Lies. Back in the day, she remembered when the mailman delivered the catalog she dreaded most, Victoria's Secret. They called their models angels, but she considered them devils in disguise. Every single one of them seemed like a boy toy to her. Look, look, look. All of them in near naked splendor for men to lust after. It was a smorgasbord of women, each clad with sumptuous, slinky undergarments, epitomizing sexuality and parading like a peacock. Such an array of eye candy and risque lingerie would awaken any man's desire. No wonder they gawk. It was a sea of irresistible, voluptuous pert breasts endowed with much cleavage, pushing up and out of underwear or bras for special effect. Those beguiling prima donnas in tiny attire would kindle any man's passion. What male could escape being entranced by their intoxicating mystery? Could you blame him if he oogled while he skimmed through the pages? No doubt he'd be completely enthralled by their bare, breathtaking magnificence. These scantily clothed young divas were nothing short of mesmerizing. Who could compete with such bodily perfection? Certainly not the average woman. Each year she'd try to throw it away before her husband saw it. But somehow curiosity always killed the cat, and she'd browse through the pages herself, wishing she could entice her husband's passion in a similar manner. Perhaps it was a lost cause, and she had no chance of being as seductive as they were, but this year was different. Something inside her wondered if she should at least try. Why she even bothered to go, she did not know, but she felt strangely compelled to go to the store and take a peek. Their strategy was working. Behind all of this allure and marketing was a call to action to quicken every woman's desire and ultimately purchase their scandalous attire. The hope was to be sexy too, and so the quest began. As she looked around, there was a large assortment of exotic push-up bras designed to augment your breasts. They called them Wonder Bras, but she didn't imagine they would begin to help her sagging sacks of flesh. While searching for her size, she laughed now, recalling her mama's exact words. One day, you will wake up with boobs down to your belly button. She had never believed it at the time, but now gravity had caught up with her, and no truer words had been spoken. She didn't know if it was age or weight loss that produced such hanging sacks of tissue, but clearly things had fallen where they didn't belong. As she tried on the bras, it became painfully clear that it was just a fantasy that her full figure would ever offer such allure. One glance in the mirror revealed extra folds of skin escaping from beneath her armpits and from underneath the bra line behind her back. The objective was to feel sultry, but she only felt vulnerable. As far as she was concerned, there wasn't enough underwire in the world to secure a pert advantage. No matter. On to the next attempt at seduction. There were bins to explore with itty-bitty panties and lacy thongs. She was reluctant to imagine trying them on, for it was a delusion to think her dimpled derriere would tease anyone. It was clear she had no firm buttocks to put on display, not to mention the cellulite that wrinkled her exposed thighs. In something so petite, it would be impossible to ignore the rolls of fat around her tummy. Once upon a time, there was a belly button in there somewhere, she thought. How conspicuous she would feel in them. With each glance in the mirror, her facade of confidence in wearing their sensual regalia wavered. She studied the other delicate, intimate apparel as well, and felt defeated. She didn't think those tiny teddies were meant to belong on her body, but she slipped them on anyway. My, how she grimaced as she stared at her reflection. Her body did not look ideal as her folds of flesh protruded from the lacy garments. One might say she was fat, but she preferred the words more portly, or profited, I guess. As fast as she could put them on, she tore them off, not wanting to feel embarrassed by her physique in their lingerie any longer. The wonder they produced on the models was not hers to enjoy. Perhaps a revolution was in order. She closed her eyes and right there in the dressing room declared war on the notion she needed to emulate their bodily perfection to begin with. So she left the store empty-handed. They ought to rename the store from Victoria's Secret to Victor's Lies, she said to herself, chuckling, and went on her merry way. Later that night, she went into her lingerie chest and chose one of her favorite silk nightgowns. I prefer classic elegance, she said to herself as it draped down around her. She studied her reflection in the mirror. Suddenly she felt a renewed appreciation for her body. Hers was a vessel who had carried her through many stages in life. She had forgotten to appreciate the journey she had traveled in it from young adulthood to motherhood and at last old age. Tonight, a metamorphosis was occurring. She reminded herself that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Perchance she had an epiphany. Conceivably, she felt classy and gracious with sophisticated charm. As she pondered what true beauty really was, she began to feel more confident and contemplated making peace with her identity. Perhaps there was something sumptuous and refined about her image. Could it be she looked luxurious, tasteful, and oddly well-proportioned in her gown? The silk covered a multitude of flaws, and unquestionably she felt exquisite as he entered the room behind her. He could see her standing there in the candlelight, and just one look was all it took to be captivated. He loved looking at her curves and the silhouette of her body, clinging gently beneath it. To him, she had a deep, subtle radiance about her, refined and elegant. He believed she was ravishing and absolutely breathtaking. Reveling in his attraction, she slipped into bed beside him and thought to herself, there is something to be said for leaving much to the imagination, and more ways than one to be found desirable. There in the candlelight the two souls united. On came the passion, and off went the nightgown. Who needed Victoria's Secret anyway? With each touch of his hands, her flaws faded from her memory. "Good night, my love," she whispered, completely content to be naked and who she was. "Good night, my beloved," he told her. Then tenderly kissing on her forehead, he added, "You are so beautiful to me." She smiled a great smile, knowing that in spite of her imperfections, she was perfectly loved. Then she drifted up to sleep in his arms. What the Hell's Victoria's Secret, sung to the tune of Deck the Halls. What the hell's Victoria's Secret, Fala fucking la, the Wonder Bra. Underwires produce much cleavage. They have perfect breasts and all the rest. All their bellies, without stretch marks, iron thighs. Tell me why I can't be merely 1/10 as attractive as the skinny sluts they are to me. Clearly, I'm just feeling jealous. They have all been airbrushed and wrinkled free. Still inside, I can't ignore it. Beating at the beast I'd rather be. If what counts is on the inside, if a guy's goggle-eyed only knew. Inside they are not that perfect. Still it is the babes they want to screw. When she's old, she won't stay plastic. Boy, if I were you, I'd hesitate. Women don't come with elastic. She might stretch a bit and gain some weight. What you see is not what you get. What would you do if she grew twice as wide? Boy, I tell you, you should listen. Always choose a girl for what's inside. If you want her 'cause she looks good, bodies do not come with guarantees. Time will form its own conclusions. No matter how she tries, she won't be free. In a while, her once pert breasts will droop below. Then you'll know she's like me. Victoria can't keep a secret. One thing that we share is gravity. One thing that we share is gravity.